First out the gate is the Tamiya Rising Fighter. For me, it is a Rising TIE Fighter. This one had a few modifications to it. I put some oil-filled shocks on, which still kind of feel like friction shocks somehow. We changed and did a sort of a brace in the middle to stop it from bobbling around like some of the other hoppers do. I think I dropped a torque tune motor in there to give it a bit of oomph. And I did something else to it, which I can't remember what it was now. But basically this was around trying to get this car a little bit faster around the Orchard Raceway back in the day. And I think really this should be in the hopper class, because it really is working off of a hopper chassis. But we're going to stick it out on the Orchard Raceway and see what happens to it this season. But it's going up against some pretty tasty competition. Here we go, kicking things off with the Rising Fighter. Will it put in a good performance this season, or will it let itself down and end up in the hopper class next year? Just over 9 seconds there on lap number 2. Not bad. 10 seconds for the first lap. Getting bogged down here. The problem I have with this car is the turning circle's not great. You've got to really come on the brake pretty hard to swing the back end out and then try and power out the corners that way. So it really is struggling around no cherry T-turn. It's easier around Creation Corner because it's a bit looser. Nice jump on that lap though. This looks like a reasonably good lap coming in here. And 8.37, that is its fastest so far. Whoa! Some little tricks as well, just to keep us all entertained. That's what we like to see with these buggies, isn't it? A little bit of action. Getting a little bit out of shape again there. The big bumper on the front of this car does not do it any favours with the piping around the end of the track. It's far too easy to get it caught up on something and get stuck, and that is a 13-second lap, which is not great. This one is looking reasonable, but we are now stuck. Oh dear. The Rising Fighter did a disappointing 8.37 fastest lap. An average of 10.16, which, looking down my list so far, is pretty much, other than the Lunchbox, one of the worst averages. The Grasshopper had a better average than this thing. That is not good. We are going to relegate this next season to the hopper class, because that's exactly what it is. It's got that fixed rear axle. It is most definitely a hopper. Perhaps we swap this over with the Frog and put the Frog back into the vintage class. I don't know. We're going to work something out. But that's where this thing is heading. Right, let's go and get another competitor out on the track that's a little bit better suited. Back to the Orchard Raceway for another season comes my DTO3. Now, the DTO3 holds a very special spot in my RC history, because this was the first RC car that I actually ever built myself. My runners back in the day were a Kyosho Raider and the Grasshopper that I still run today. And my dad built those, I didn't build them. This was a lockdown hobby resurgence, which has led into a well, YouTube channel and lots of RC bits and pieces, which, you know, I'm really, really enjoying. But it's all thanks to this kit. And it is a lovely kit. It's really reasonably priced, actually. You can pick these up for less than £100 these days. And with a bit of hop-ups, it's quite a competent buggy. You can see I've got some nice carbon fibre damper stays on this one. It comes with oil-filled shocks, which are really, really nice on this buggy. What else did we do? We put a decent servo saver. There's some weight at the front of this one, and around the back we are now rocking in their Tamiya Sport tuned motor. Ooh, the only RC on the Orchard Raceway to have a sport tuned. Will it make the difference? We'll have to find out. Now, pedigree from the Orchard Raceway, season number 1, the very, very first season, this finished second. So, it does have some good history. Last season, it had a bad run, but the first year out, this was up there, right up there. Let's see what we can do around the track with this one this year. The DT03 is starting like it means business. I was disappointed last season with this car, but this opener is absolutely flying. 6.77. That is one of the fastest times we've seen on the Orchard Raceway so far this season. And 6.60, it goes faster again. You can see that I'm really getting the hang of this. 6.14, I think that is the lap record on the Orchard Raceway. We are out of control with this buggy at the moment. 6.57, we are cooked. Oh. Well, all good things come to an end at some point, don't they? Stop. Goodness me. How fast was that? 6.14. Wow, I'm impressed. I'm blown away. It was actually so much easier to drive. Now, in the off-season, I did tweak around with it. So I gave it some new tyres, and I actually think that's made all the difference to it, because the last set that came off were well worn, and these are brand spanky new. So you cannot beat a new set of, I think those are Schumacher mini pins on there. You can't beat them. And the DT03, quite rightly, now sits slap bang on top of the table for this division. Will it stay there though? There's some pretty decent RCs still to come. But for now, this is rocking top of the shop. And it deserves a good place in the Orchard Raceway, because it's got that Orchard Raceway pedigree. Second place in 2022. Will it make the finale for 2024? Let's find out. The man, the legend that is Derek Mini OAG's holiday buggy. Now, many of you will know that Derek is no ordinary holiday buggy. For a start, he is our community holiday buggy, which means he's been donated to the channel, and he's also had quite a lot of parts donated to him from various people, mostly from Jess. Underneath there, he has got a complete carbon fibre chassis. Ooh, I hear you say. Yes, that's right. No plastic for Derek. He is better than that. He has, somewhere in the back of here, a lovely RZ motor. You can see the bell end of it there. There it is. And he's got oil-filled shocks. He is an absolute superstar. I really enjoy driving Derek. He sounds so good when he's rocking and rolling around the track. Can Derek put a smile on Mini OAG's face this season? And can he make it to the finale? Or his dad's driving skills going to let Mini OAG down yet again for another season? And Jess will be beating me up in the comments for my really bad driving. Let's go and find out. Whoops, Derek off to a bit of a false start there, already crashing him into the tree. It doesn't bode particularly well on how this is going to go, does it? Opening 6.87 though, that is not a bad first lap from the old boy Derek, but Dad is showing his usual driving skills and ploughing it straight into the piping early on. Starting to find the groove now, 6.84. There's a really nice sound that comes from this buggy when it's winding up. That RZ motor is just beautiful, but not keeping up with the DTO3 at this point. 6.67, that is quick though. We are getting there, we're winding it in, but I just can't seem to get the power down quickly enough. Another example there on how loose the back end is on this buggy. I really do think it might benefit. And another example, I really do think it might benefit from some of those mini pins or the ballistic tyres on the rear. So we will get looking into that, ready for next season. Mini OAG's not talking to me because Derek did not go faster than the DTO3. I couldn't get a carbon fibre chassis DTO2 with an RZ motor to go faster than a blooming DTO3 with a sport-tuned motor. Now, those of you that are Tamiya experts will tell me, of course you won't do that because the sport-tuned motor has got more torque and blah, 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 blah. And maybe it does. And maybe that's why that DTO3 went better. But Mini OAG is not happy that Derek didn't manage to get into the finale again because he's been beaten by the DTO3. We will try and give Derek a good run in any sort of speed challenges that come up for DTO2s because I think he's still quite quick. And he is a blast to drive, but he wasn't quick enough this year. Guess what, though? Derek is suffering with a case of the bold tyres because Mini OAG did loads of donuts with these and we've worn them down to little stubs, and I do wonder whether that's having an impact. And also his front wheels are these horrible groovy, I don't know, rubbish tyres, and I wonder whether some Schumacher Staggers on the front will give him a bit of an advantage as well. So maybe next year Derek comes back with some new shoes and we give him another go. Sorry Mini. Sorry, Jess. The modern two-wheel drive buggy that splits opinion amongst RC fans. The Tamiya TD2. Now, lots of people have not been very happy with Tamiya's TD chassis. The TD4 was not very popular, and the TD2, lots of people didn't like the looks and styling of it. Personally, and this is just me, I think it is a beautiful RC car. More importantly, I think it drives really well as well. This is out of the box standard. It's running a silver can. I've got no modifications to it at all. This is stock shocks, stock everything. There's no upgraded steering mechanisms. There's no upgraded damp stays. It is just as Tamiya intended it. Motor's mounted up in here somewhere. It's not hanging out the back. It is a lovely RC. It drives really well. It looks great. Can it can it get up on the Orchard Raceway this year? Now, it is a bit of a OAG Orchard Raceway pedigree. We've got 3rd place from 2022, and it did win the one and only Festival of Scale Speed that we did back in 2022. So it has got some medals to its name. In fact, it's the only car that has 2 awards written on it. So I do think it might just cause an upset. Let's see how we get on with it. Let's get this show on the road. Now let's cut to the chase. I am expecting this to be as fast, if not faster, than the DT03. That, however, is not a good start. 7.11 is a second off the pace pretty much at this point, and that is not a good second lap either. Four laps in and we're still struggling to get under that 7 seconds. We've only done it once. And 6.44, now that is more impressive. That goes faster than the DT03. No, sorry, DT02. We are now in 2nd position for the TD2. Caught up on the tree on that last lap. Here's another hot lap coming in, and I hit the tree again. That was looking fast, that particular lap. Let's see if we can string this one in. A bit wide there around no cherry tree turn. 6.84, we're back under 7 seconds again. But this car is struggling for pace. 6.54, that's more like it. We're running out of laps, so we need to keep going, put something else hot in.
6.81.
I did tell you it was good, didn't I? But it was not good enough. 6.44. So finished 2nd in the class, division runner-up, but not good enough to beat that 6.14 that the DT03 did. Now, it did have a better average. Average time, oh no, sorry, I misread. It didn't have a better average. Well, it did have a better average because the DT03 only did about 4 laps, didn't it? But the average was 7.12, which, just looking down my score sheet, it is, I mean, except for the DT03, but I don't think you can really count that. It is the best average time we've seen on the Orchard Raceway so far. I still think this is a lovely car. It didn't jump as well. It struggled over Moles Mound. It just seemed to be a little bit front heavy, which surprised me because I would have thought the weight would have been a bit further back. And I wonder, because of that motor position here, it just tilts the weight forward slightly when it hits that jump. And a lot of the other cars have not had that problem so far, but this one did. So unfortunately, it's a runner-up. It doesn't make the finale, which means, drum roll please, this is our Orchard Raceway modern 2-wheel drive division winner, the Tamiya DT03. No guts, no glory. Look at the state of the bodywork on this car. It has been battered all over the place, but yet it was the fastest thing around the Orchard Raceway, and currently it holds the lap record around the Orchard Raceway, 6.14 seconds. I think that is fantastic. So our 2nd car in the finale for 2022 is, sorry, 2022, we're in 2024. In 2024 is the DT03, 2022's runner-up. 2 cars in, 3 more to find out. Do you think that the DT03 will go better than the Mad Bull? Do you think the DT03 will win this season and redeem itself from its 2022 runner-up status? All will be revealed on the OAG RC in the not-too-distant future. Thank you for watching, and see you all soon. Whatever you do, have some good old-fashioned RC fun. Bye for now. When I talk of vintage 2-wheel drive RCs, there is only one thing that ever jumps into my mind, and that is the Kyosho Raider. My first ever RC car. This is my rebuild Raider that I put together during lockdown, where I managed to find 2 donor chassis on eBay, strip them back, pull them all apart, find some lovely modern big bore shocks, tweaked the setup of the wheels so I could mount these beautiful re-release tyres and wheels onto them, and I rebuilt myself a Raider runner to take out on the Orchard Raceway and thrash about and thrash around it does. But it is yet to see any real success on the Orchard Raceway. For this season, we've had a little upgrade, and in there, somewhere deep inside there, is a Tamiya motor, which I believe is a torque-tuned motor, but I can't see it. Mounted in the middle there. Oh no, it's just a silver can. Just a silver can. Giving it too much credit. Maybe this year will be the year it does something special out on the Orchard Raceway. Whatever happens, I love the way this car sounds, I love the way it looks, and I love the way it drives. To me, there's nothing else like it, and I'm so pleased that I have not 1 but 2 in the fleet, and another yet to build. So, who will the Raider be competing against? Here we go, the start of the Kyosho Raiders run, my first RC and my favourite RC, posting its first lap of 2024 at 9.27, not setting the world alight, but this car was an entry-level car back at the end of the 1980s, so I don't have massively high hopes for it, but I do think this one might go a little bit better because I've got some big bore shocks on it. It's got a decent motor, or a reasonably decent motor in it. As you can already see, it's starting to put in some decent laps. The Raider is unique because it's got that mid-motor position that a lot of entry cars didn't have, which means it does drive reasonably well. It's quite nicely balanced. The biggest problem it has is the steering throw is not great, so it doesn't get a tight turn. You can see, as we're going around the corners, it's just not getting tight enough. You can't really get it in nice and tight. You have to come on the brakes pretty heavy. That was a good lap, 7.94. That is not a bad lap for this car. I am hoping to get pretty close. There we go, 7.27. We're starting to get into it. Once you get the hang of this car and you can slam that back end round, you really can start posting some great laps. That was a great corner. It's just struggling on the grass section a little bit. The tyres aren't really set up for the grass. They're far better on a full dirt track. But unfortunately this season, that is not this way the Orchard Raceway is set up. Do you know what? I'll take that. I will take that. 7.27, I think, is a very respectable time. We had a nice big crash into the tyres, didn't we? A bit of fun. It jumps nicely. It runs all right. It's not setting any lap records. But do you know what? It's a blooming good fun car, isn't it? And it looks good. I think that is one of the best looking RCs that you can get. There'll be many people that won't agree with me. They won't like the look of it. Mid-motor. I mean, back in the day, in the sort of late 80s when this came out, 89, I want to say the Raider came out. This was going up against, I remember running this against Frogs and Hornets and stuff like that. They didn't even hold anywhere near that level of cool and awesomeness that the Raider does. Just love it. If you don't have a Raider, get one. There's nothing like it. It drives beautiful. It's great fun, and it sounds, I think, like nothing else, really. There's lots of unique RCs that run and sound differently, but this one just screams nostalgia to me. Now, we go from the Kyosho Raider to what is almost a 1990s race pedigree buggy. This is Project Ham, the hybrid astute madcap. It started off life as an eBay purchase of a madcap, which I bought for about £80. And I couldn't believe my luck when I bought this. I was like, yeah, I've got myself a madcap. And then I got it, and the chassis was a mess. Absolutely shattered, bits broken off it all over the place. And I couldn't believe it. So I bought another chassis, which was also broken. And then my heart broke because I realised what I'd done. And I spent all this money on an RC car that I was never going to be able to run, because the madcap is a bit of a funny RC. And then my buddy Cole from Tamiya Club got in touch and said, don't worry, dude, you can turn it into an astute. I went, yeah, okay, whatever. And he was right. You can sort of turn it into an astute. You use the bulkhead at the front. You use the bulkhead and the gearbox at the rear that just comes straight off of your madcap. You bolt it to, under there, you can't see it, an astute, super astute chassis plate. And you then buy a load of super astute stays and shocks, which cost an arm and a leg. You put some new wheels on it. You have to come up with some sort of cool hybrid-y type steering setup. And if you're like me, you can't quite work out how to put the brace on. So you run it without a brace and hope you don't break anything. Let's see how quickly we can get this one go around the track. It drives really, really nice. It didn't have a good maiden season, but I think now it's in the right class. We might see something special from this season. Hello friends, here we go. Tamiya Madcap Project Ham. Is it a madcap? Is it an astute? I don't really know, but it's pretty quick. 6.57. It is already faster than the Kyosho Raider around the Orchard Raceway in the vintage two-wheel drive class. What a way to start. And it looks pretty good out there, doesn't it? Another good lap there, and a little bit of showboating as I smashed into the tyre wall. The car is really, really, really easy to drive, but it is a bit squirrely when it gets down on the grass, and I am finding it certainly difficult to keep the laps consistent, and I'm struggling around no cherry tree turn when I'm out on the grass, but that is a good lap, 6.47. That is the fastest we've seen this buggy put in today, followed up with a 7.77. Stringing together those fast laps is tough. There we go, new lap record, 6.10. Are we going to follow it up with a 7? Yes, we are. But we have our new lap record holder on the Orchard Raceway for 2024. Well, I was right. We did see something special from Project Ham. 6.10 seconds. It is our lap record holder around the Orchard Raceway. Yeah, woo! I love it. Absolutely love it. Did you see how well it drives out there? It is absolutely stunning. Cole, you said it, buddy. When you helped me put this thing together, you said that it was going to absolutely dominate the Orchard Raceway, and you were not wrong. This thing's absolutely amazing. I mean, it's a bit of a beast, isn't it? I mean, it's not really anything that you can describe as a normal RC. It kind of looks a bit like a madcap, but it's not a madcap. And then I did some crazy paintwork on it and pretended that I'm like from Blockhead Motors. Yeah, I'm super cool. But I'm not. I've just like whacked a load of stickers on something and made it look good. But gee whiz, it doesn't have to drive well. I like it. I like it a lot. And it's going to be pretty hard to beat at 6.10. So that is faster than the DTO3. That currently is our Orchard Raceway record holder. Can it be beaten? We have another veteran of the Orchard Raceway. Second place runner-up from 2023. I present to you the Kyosho Ultima. Look at that. A beautiful RC. Done in a very different colour scheme. I'm still not sure about the wheels, but hey, they kind of work with the colours, don't they? But what a mighty fine RC this is. Slipper clutch installed as standard. There is some hop-ups in here, but I can't remember what they are. But it is running a silver can. Beautiful shocks. Absolutely stunning. This thing is geared up beautifully. Kyosho do a really good job of gearing up their vintage re-release RCs. They are something else. And you see that motor's hanging out pretty much all the way back past the wheels there, which gives all the weight at the back end of this car. But actually, it still feels quite weighty at the front end because of this metal chassis that runs front to back, and a stick pack goes right through the middle. Hold on with those lovely Kyosho retro Velcro straps. This is going to go well. Will it go well enough to beat all of the competition? Let's find out. There we go, the Kyosho Ultima takes to the track on the Orchard Raceway. Now we can already see I am struggling to get this car to go where I want it to. Very, very wide on no cherry tree turn and not enough grip coming around Creation Corner. I'm just not sure what was going on with this buggy. As you can see there, as I go over the inside barrier, I just can't seem to get the steering right. I don't know whether the tracking was slightly off or whether the servo wasn't responding quickly enough, but I just couldn't seem to control it. Disappointingly, that lap was a void because the timing system didn't work, and I think that was a really, really quick lap. But it was null and void, so the next lap was 15.24 because he had to take for 2. Struggling to get it over the jump, struggling to keep the wheels down. Really, the Ultima is not having its best day out on the track. Now, we're running out of laps now, so let's see if we can put something decent together. This is not looking like a bad lap. 6.27. That is one of the quickest times around the Orchard Raceway, but it is not quick enough to catch up with the Madcap yet. Final lap now, let's see if we can do something special. No. Sorry, 6.27 does not beat the Madcap. Puts it in second place, and it is one of the fastest cars that went around the track. I really struggled to get it going this year. I struggled to keep the front wheels down, and it was not turning in quick enough. Don't know if it was the track conditions on the day. Last year, this thing was a breeze to drive. This year, not so much. I don't know what went on. I suppose you could say that I had a bad day with it. I still love it. I still think it looks absolutely fantastic. And I still think it drives really, really nice. And I did have a couple of bad laps, which means it got a really bad average. But I don't think that's any reflection on this particular model. I think it's a great car. It'll be back. It just won't be back this year. Let's put it back on the shelf for another season. And let's see what one more runner can. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to try and drive the Cougar around the Orchard Raceway again for another season. It has not had a good history. Do you know what, this car's been so slow, I haven't even worn down the rear tyres yet. I've not given it a proper test. We've had to upgrade things on it before we've even started because things have started to break, like the high-speed gearbox is now in there because I trashed the lay shaft and ripped all the gears off of it, so I've had to put the slipper clutch in. Then I wore down some of the slipper clutch because I didn't tighten it up properly and started to wreck that. So we had to rebuild that as well. It's running a silver can. It's got the shocks in from the kit, which are, I must admit, are very nice, even though I made a right dog's dinner of building them. If you've not seen the fun of my Cougar build, please go back and see it. You guys know that this is a very, very capable car because people run them in vintage race series that they do when they've never been racing before, like Gav over at RC Kicks. People know this thing's good, but mine is rubbish because I am an awful RC builder. This season, we're going to try and get it around the track. I have spent a lot of time on this during the winter. I think it is ready to rock. Let's find out if it can do it. Here we go. After many seasons or 2 seasons of not being able to perform properly, the Cougar is finally out on the track and a lap record on its first lap on the Orchard Raceway for 2024, 5.9 seconds. We have a sub 6 second on the Orchard Raceway for this season. What a fantastic start by the Cougar. 6.34, already putting in another great lap. The rear wing appears to be hanging off, and I did have a pretty big impact then on that 8.1, but it's absolutely flying around the Orchard Raceway. No problems, it would appear, with the diff whatsoever. Another big impact, and we appear to have lost all steering. The cat shows its claws. The Cougar, 5.9 seconds. We've got a sub 6 second lap on the Orchard Raceway, and it was from the blooming Cougar. But I did have a bit of a problem. I may have broken the elastic rebound system that comes here on the back. I think just the loop popped off here, and I've just got to rehook it down there. But if I remember correctly, that might be a bit of a difficult task. So we might look at finding another solution for that. But whoa, hang on a minute. Guess what? This is in the finale. I do have a problem though, because the whole steering setup has all fallen to pieces inside here. And I do think I might have to stick a steering servo on, because I think that might be a problem, because I just put the servo on straight on the servo because I'm an idiot. But guess what? This, the Schumacher Cougar that I have struggled to get going around the track, is now the fastest thing on the Orchard Raceway. Lap record 5.9 seconds. I am buzzing. I'm absolutely buzzing. I cannot tell you how good this was to drive and how happy I am with it. And I think it could have gone faster. I think it was getting up some speed and I was getting the hang of it, and it could have gone faster. This thing's got a silver can in it. It's not even got a decent motor. It's a stock silver can and it's done a 5.9 seconds. I reckon this is the car for everybody to beat. I thought it would be the two-wheel drives that would go well this season. And this is proving that I might have been right. And it's not very often. You ask my wife, it's not very often I am right. So, the Cougar, the DT03, and the Mad Bull are our 3 finalists so far on the Orchard Raceway. 2 more classifications to go. Modern 4-wheel drive and vintage 2-wheel drive. I am feeling in a bit of a retro vintage mood, and having now had some success with the Cougar, I think I want to find out how good the Top Force Evo and the Optima Mid are. So they're going to run the vintage 4-wheel drives next, and we'll save the modern ones for last. Thanks for watching. I've been Craig. This has been the OAGRC. This is the Orchard Raceway Series, and this is your your vintage 2-wheel drive champ, the Schumacher Cougar. Thanks for watching. See you all soon on the OAGRC. Schumacher! Welcome to the Orchard Raceway modern 4-wheel drive buggies. Not a great start for the Baja Champ because I struggled to get around the corner at the very start. This buggy is running some seriously old electronics. I mean, they're a modern ESC, but it's a very early modern ESC from what I can tell. And that 7.27 was its fastest lap so far. Not a bad start, really. But this thing is struggling to get below 8 seconds because it's just running on those oil-filled shocks that I don't actually think have any oil in. The motor's an old motor, not helping it out, and the electrics are not doing its thing. And I'm really struggling to keep control of this one as we go around the Orchard Raceway. 11 seconds, that's an embarrassing lap. But you can just see it's not responding quickly enough. I don't think the ESC, or all the servo for that matter, are responding to the inputs of the car fast enough to make this particular buggy competitive, unfortunately. So I'll let you enjoy the rest of the footage, and then we'll have a little wrap up at the end. With a time of 7.27, the Baja Champ Australia edition managed to pull out, I suppose, a reasonable lap. This should be very close, though, to a TT02B, and I don't think so. I'm using the electrics in there that came with it, and they're a little bit out of date. The motor, I think, has seen better days as well, and the shocks aren't doing it any favours. So I've not really set this up to succeed, have I? And I've pitched it right in with the modern 4-wheel drive buggies, and I don't think it's off to a good start. But it looks cool, doesn't it? And I think sometimes that's what you have to go on. You have to sort of say, well, my RC does look good. I can put a faster motor in. I can put some different shocks on it. I can play around with how it's set up. But it does look fun, and it is a part of Tamiya's history of buggies. But it was from a time, really, where I think Tamiya were out of the buggy game. They're really focusing on their touring cars. And this one very much feels like a touring car that's kind of been buggy-fied. But then you could argue that's what the TT02B is. It's the same. It'll be back next year, I'm sure. It currently sits on top of the leaderboard. I don't think it's going to stay there. But it's another one of the OAG fleet that will be back for more at some point. Until then, we just have to enjoy it for what it is. So over to Murphy, the DF03. I call him Murphy because he's got an awful lot of metal in him. A good Robocop reference for those of you who like 80s action films. So the DF03 starts off pretty well. 2 identical laps, 6.87. And actually, I found this thing quite easy to drive out on the Orchard Raceway. The laps are reasonably consistent, and I do like the way that this buggy handles and turns in. I think it is carrying a bit of extra weight, a bit of extra timber because of all that metal on it, but it certainly looks the part out there. And I know you guys will all have your own views on this particular buggy. I personally think it looks beautiful. 6.91, another just sort of sub-second, 7-second lap. I'm just starting to find the groove, getting into this buggy now, finding its little niches and the way that it handles on the track. 6.07, we are catching up on the DT03 and 6 seconds. That is the same time as the DT03. We are still off the Cougar, but that is a pretty impressive lap time. This is 1/10 off of the lap record time. What a session for the DF03. Many people will have their opinions on this buggy, but I don't think it's too bad. And mine is carrying a bit of extra weight with those stronger arms, which I am tempted actually to take off, and maybe the alloy stays as well. So I think that does add a fair bit of weight to the way this thing drives, but not for this season. I'm pleased with that. 6 seconds dead for the DF03. It currently sits top of the pack in the modern four-wheel drive. I do think that could be a tough beat, you know. I'm not sure the four-wheel drives are going to have it this season. I do think the two-wheel drives around the track are slightly better suited. However, this thing does drive very, very nicely. You can see why people were a big fan of it. You can also see why people were concerned about it, because I do think it is a little bit of a faff, certainly getting the battery in and out with that battery door underneath. I think it is a bit delicate, if I'm honest. I know mine's got all this metal on it, but every time I take it out, I do worry I'm going to break something. So far, touch wood somewhere here, so good. But I do like this particular one. I do like what I did to it. Those translucent shocks are, you know, they're cool, aren't they? Love being able to see what's going on inside the shock as it goes up and down. It's very, very sweet. And, you know, I always say you cannot beat a gearbox in the back that is clear. For now, it might be in the finale, unless anything go faster. We've got the XV01 still to come and the TT02B, so it might be knocked off its perch, but for now, it is our modern four-wheel drive leader for another week. Thank you very much. See you all soon on the OAG RC. Bye for now. The racing machine indeed. The Lancia Delta XV01 Tamiya. What can we get out of this belt-driven four-wheel drive rally car out on the Orchard Raceway? Now, last season, this was a non-event. I didn't race the rally cars last season, mainly because I had that big jump on the Orchard Raceway last year, and I was concerned that, well, basically I was going to wreck some of the cars. And we're back out this year with a small jump, but one that I thought that the rally cars would be able to handle. The XV01 is handling it, but the lap times are way off the pace of the buggies. And I think, despite putting in a really good performance the first year that the XV01 went out, you can see every single lap is just struggling to break down to those 7 seconds. I'm sort of pitching in at the 7, 7.5, the 8s. And you can see the car bobbling around. The Orchard's not as smooth this season as it was in previous years. 7.5 again. I'd love to see this do a sub-7 and get into the 6s, but I'm not sure I've got it in me. 7.77, and that to me looked like a good lap as well. I think, unfortunately, the rally cars are out of the running this year. Say what you want about this, it is still one of my favourite drives of RCs. The rally cars struggle with the jump. You would not believe the problems that I had with the TT02 Type S, which you're not going to be seeing in this class because, unfortunately, and I will run the footage now for you. We had some problems with the drive shafts. So the XV01 is the only rally car that represents this season. 7.04 is not a fast lap time. The Orchard Raceway is not kind to our rally cars, unfortunately. So we're going to have to come up with a better way of doing rally stuff on the Orchard Raceway or the OAG sessions. I'll give some thought to that during the off season. But for now, this XV01 is done for the season, back onto the shelf, but it will be back. At least it did the Mark Bryan poor boys slalom faster than Yoda managed to do it in his 959. Just drop that in there, just for some extra banter. Right, thanks for watching, guys. See you all next week. One more competitor, TT02B, still to go. A Orchard Raceway winner from 2022. Let's see how that gets on. Here we go, an Orchard Raceway 2022 champion, the Tamiya TT02B, 6.5 second opening lap. I like the look of this. It is always quick, 6.10. We are a tenth of a second off the DF03 at the moment, and now we've gone 6 seconds. We've whoa, that was a big off, wasn't it? 6 seconds is the same time as the DF03, so both of them are currently tying for the lead in the modern four-wheel drive class. Can this buggy pull out the business and do a faster lap than that? 6.7 is not going to do it. I'm starting to struggle with the grip a little bit on these tyres, I must admit. Now, this is running the same wheels and tyres as the DF. We have done it! 5.87, a new Orchard Raceway lap record. What an absolute blinder. I was just about to say it's running the same wheels and tyres as the DF03, but it doesn't matter. The TT02B shows why it is a former Orchard Raceway champion with that absolutely blinding lap record of 5.87. Wow, I was struggling to start with, but we got there in the end, didn't we? The TT02B is a sub 6 second Orchard Raceway runner and currently is the fastest car to go round the track this season, regaining its rightful place top of the stack and into its second finale. So both the TT02B and the DT03 are back for their second season finale. This has set the cat amongst the pigeons, because I thought that the two-wheel drives were going to run the Rule the Roost this season, and it seems that this particular four-wheel drive has got other things to think about it. I think this season the extra ground clearance has helped it out on the Orchard Raceway. I don't think these tyres do it any favours. I think it would be quicker with more grip. However, these are the same tyres that were on the DF03, and that went well also. So, what do you think? Tamiya's budget cars are smacking it out on the Orchard Raceway on Torque Tunes and Smart Tune motors. It's mad, isn't it? I think all those cars, all that extra bits and pieces that go on them, and they can't be pretty much, this is a bog standard. Other than bearings, this is exactly as it came out on these tyres and wheels. This is how it came out the kit. There we go. On to another division is finished. On to another one. We've got the vintage four-wheel drive class to come. Will the vintage ones be able to topple this thing? We shall find out. Thanks for watching and see you all soon on the OAG RC. Goodbye for now. Hello everybody, welcome to the OAG RC. I am Craig, thank you for stopping by. The winner of the last run out on the Orchard Raceway was the TT02B Plasma Edge 2. Another finale winner in the past. Gold in 2022 and it's back in for 2024. Will it strike gold again? Don't know. You'll have to keep watching to find out. The finale is around the corner, but until we get there, we've got to go through vintage four-wheel drive RCs. Now, I don't think the vintage ones will be as quick, will they, as a modern four-wheel drive buggy? Let's see who we've got competing this season. Last season's Orchard Raceway winner. From one winner to another. The Tamiya Thunder Dragon chassis. Now, I think this one drives particularly well, actually. Even though it's got a monoshock in the front, and you can still see there's a bit of dirt on there, it does surprisingly well. And this one is in a non-standard X-Wing variant, complete with R2-D2. And, well, do you know what? An Orchard Raceway winner it is. Should never ever count an ex-Orchard Raceway winner out on the track. The pedigree is pretty high in the vintage four-wheel drive class because last year the Tamiya Hotshot finished third. Now many of you will know this was the car that I dreamed of as a boy. This is one I wanted and it was very graciously gifted to the channel by the RC Elf. And this particular, I mean, look at those gold wheels, the way the light shines off that. Fantastic. One of my all-time faves. Another mono shock at the front. This one just speaks RC buggy to me. When I think of an RC buggy, this is the first thing I think of. Can it do its thing out on the Orchard Raceway in 2024? Another vintage four-wheel drive masterpiece is the Kyosho Optima Mid. Built this last year. This is going to be its first outing out on the Orchard Raceway. A rookie entry to the OR this season. And it was a mighty fine build. I really enjoyed it. The belt drive system is very, very interesting. Lots of finicky little fiddly bits in there. But this does look like a very, very competent four-wheel drive buggy. And then we have this beauty, the Top Force Evo. I was never sure about this, never sure about it when I picked it up. But when I built it, I really like the look of it. It's really aggressive. The shocks are an absolute thing of beauty. I loved building those shocks, absolutely fantastic. The high caps, very, very, very nice. I'm not sure how this one sits. It seems to sit higher, and then when you push down the suspension, it sits a bit lower afterwards. Not sure how this is going to go. Another rookie entry to the Orchard Raceway for 2024. And the final entry. Let's go and see how these four buggies get on. So let's see what the Tamiya Hotshot can do around the Orchard Raceway. A nice tyre smash there to kick us off. And an opening lap of 9.47. It's not exactly setting the world alight. But then this is probably the oldest representation of vintage four-wheel drive that we've got on. 7.37, that's not a bad second lap. We're starting to get into the swing of it. 7.64, we're stopping very suddenly. All that talk of last season and third place and everything I just said, and it went and did only 3 laps. 7.37, I think, was the fastest lap, which does put it currently in first because it's the only one that's run. But let's be frank about it and let's be realistic about it. This is not going to win with the 7.37. And even if it does, then the vintage four-wheel drives don't even deserve to be in the finale, to be quite frank about it. What went wrong? Well, my driving, possibly, but I think this buggy also carries an awful lot of weight at the front, and it just was tipping forward. So when it was landing, that big bumper digs in, and you can see it's got some dirt on the front where it landed, and it just dug in on the front, and that was the end of that. So unfortunately, the Hotshot does not, well, I'm being very presumptuous, but I don't think this is going to make another finale, unfortunately. And we've got some bent headlights at the front now as a result of it all. Unlucky, Hotshot. Maybe next year will be your year. Maybe a faster motor. Who knows? Right, who is next? Can the 2023 winner do better than we saw with the Tamiya Hotshot in the last set of laps? Off to a reasonable start, 7.57. This one seems to take that jump a lot better than probably any of the cars have done so far. It just looks so clean when it lands and kicks on. That's not a bad lap there, 6.7. We're starting to get better. That's already faster than the Hotshot. But a little demonstration there of how this car does tend to bite in around that bottom corner and around No Cherry Tree turn. You've got to be careful you don't roll it around that corner. This looks like another reasonable lap, 7.24. We're struggling to get up into the sixes on a consistent basis. 6.10, that is fastest so far around the Orchard Raceway for a vintage four-wheel drive, and that is only a tenth of a second off the DFO3 and 3 odd tenths of a second off the TTO2B. So we are back in contention with the Thunder Dragon, but stopped. 6.10 for R2D2 and the X-Wing Thunder Dragon Tribute. It's not a bad time, is it? So what do we get? We got 6 with the DFO3, 5.9 with the TTO2B. It's not a million miles away, and I do think it's got a little bit more in it. I do think we are currently sitting top of the shop. This thing drives really nicely. It does have a tendency, though, when you're going around the corners, to do a little bit of this. And what you saw on that last lap, it flipped over. And that's part of the problem with this. When you go into the corner too hot, it does traction roll and loses it. But we are currently in a really, really decent place with this. And I think it might be hard to beat. I don't know what I'm talking about, because the other two are both rookies. I've never driven them before. So let's see how the Optima Mid gets on. Here we go. It's been a long time coming. The Optima Mid takes the track. Not a good start there, but we will get the hang of it, I'm sure. First time driving this car at all out on the Orchard Raceway. And 6.5 is not a bad way to start. Now, the sound of this car is beautiful. Let me just let you listen to it for a minute. Sound of those bouts is just superb. But I can't seem to be getting this one going as quick as the Thunder Dragon at the moment. 6.47 and a 6.37. The lap times are starting to drop, but we're still a little bit off the pace that we saw with the Thunder Dragon. I do like the way this car is handling, but what I would say is it seems, I think whether the Kyoshos get higher geared, it seems to be carrying more speed, which is making taking that bottom No Cherry Tree turns hard, because it seems to be going wide. That was tighter. This is looking like a good lap. And it is 6.77. We're still not quite there. Can I get this one right? This is the final lap. Is it going to be better? Yes, it is. whoa, on the last lap, it managed to pull out a 6.04 to send it top of the four-wheel drive table. But oddly, not as quick as the DF03 or the TT02B. Now, yeah, okay, it's got a silver can. It's got a silver can on it, I admit. And it, I don't know, I just got a feeling that should be quicker than that. I've got a feeling that this should be faster than a TT02B on a torque tune. I just do. And I think it definitely should be quicker than the DF03 with those slippy tyres that I had. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm not sure whether the wheels are right or whether I've got the suspension set up correctly or whether the diffs aren't done properly. I don't know. It's just, it feels all right, but yeah, didn't pull it off, did we? So, well, say that. But it is top of the vintage four-wheel drive, but it's not as quick as the modern four-wheel drives, which surprises me. Does it surprise you? Do you think I've set it up wrong? What should I be doing differently? I mean, it looks nice, doesn't it? But it is currently top of the leaderboard for the vintage four-wheel drives. But I was just expecting this one to be a bit quicker. One more to go. So our final buggy takes the track in the vintage four-wheel drive, the Top Force Evo, and gets off to a flyer 5.97. It has already gone fastest, and 5.87 it goes again, and that is the same time that we did with the TT02B. Whoa, we've got a lap record, 5.8 seconds in the Top Force Evo. What a 3 laps to get us started. That is insane, and a tyre smash. What more do you want? This is unbelievable. We are getting going on the Top Force Evo and we're only 5 laps in. This is absolutely crazy. So we've had 4 laps that have been under 6 seconds so far. And this looks good. It's another lap record, 5.74. What are we doing? How's this got a 5.5 in it? What do you think? Can I get in a 5.5 seconds of the Top Force Evo around the track today? It looks like we're running out of speed. I'm pushing it too hard. I don't think we've got a faster lap, but what an absolute start for this car's Ultra Raceway journey. Wow, literally impressive numbers. Woo! What an RC car this is. So, just to let you know, I mean, I'll put the table up here. 5.74 seconds. The fastest car ever to go round the Orchard Raceway. That is a lap record for any season. I've ever had a car go that quickly around the Orchard Raceway. It drove a lap record, the 5.8, on its second lap I'd ever driven with the flipping thing. I mean, this thing almost drives itself. It's so good. I am so impressed with this. If you have got one of these, you've never built one, never driven it, get yourself it built, drive it. It is something else. If you wanted one of these and you've been on the fence, just go and buy it. It's awesome. It's a fun build, but crikey, when you drive it, it's something else. It really is so good. 6 out of the 10 laps, under 6 seconds. It's insane. It is absolutely insane. There is no way this is getting beaten. No way. Absolutely. I'm saying it now. No way this is getting beaten. This will be the car that wins. It is unbelievable. As long as I drive it fine consistently, there's nothing better than this on the Orchard Raceway. I absolutely love it. Love it, love it, love it. And it looks even better with those awesome wheels on. Thank you, Mini OAG. Good swap. But, oh, just absolutely staggered. There's never been a car I've driven where I've actually felt that good driving it. And it just goes where you want it to. We have got, I'll tell you what, that has really opened it up. So in the finale, we've got this, the TT02B, which did 5.9. We've got the the DT03. And I can't remember what that did. Was it 6.10? And then we've got the Cougar, which did a 6, or did it do a 5.9? I can't remember. Or did the TT02B do 5.8? I'm confused. It's all getting a bit blurry, but let's be frank about it, right? We've got some awesome RCs in the finale. I'm leaving the Mad Bull out. The Mad Bull's not playing with these guys. It'd be a waste of time me running that car out again. I'm sorry if you're all you Mad Bull fans. If you like Mad Bulls, go and check out H's video. He did a little video for me with the Mad Bull. Go and check that out. That's fun. But we are coming up to the finale, and we've got some awesome cars. The finale is going to be a shootout. So we're going to run 4 cars. One of those cars is going to come last. We're going to lose it. Then we're going to run 3 cars, and one of those cars is going to come last, and we're going to lose it. Then we're going to run 2 more cars. Whoever wins out of those 2 gets to go up against the Durga. Will it be these 2? Or will it be the TT02B? Or will it be the DT03? Or will it be the Cougar? Who knows? Who knows? What I do know is that sat up here, not there, that's where the Durga is, but up here is the Orchard Raceway finale stack all together in one place. This is where they sit. You make the finale, you make your way up to the shelf, the second shelf. Not the top shelf. Top shelf is for something else. That's up there. Those are the super naughty cars up here. The ones that I really enjoy building. But down here, these are the finale cars. TT02B, Top Force Evo, Tamiya DT03, and the Schumacher Cougar. Which one of those will pit its mitts against the Durga? You're going to have to find out on the Orchard Raceway finale in a few weeks' time. For now, thanks for watching. See you all soon. Bye for now. Hello everybody, welcome to the OAG RC. I am Craig. Thank you very much for joining me on the start of the finale journey on the Orchard Raceway. Today we will see which of our 4 finalists will fall at the first hurdle and not progress. And let's also find out who will be in the running to compete against the Durga in the final shootout, where this thing goes up against the Orchard Raceway champion. With no messing around and no filler, let's get straight to the action. Okay, here we are at the start of the Orchard Raceway 2024 finale. First out the box is the DT03. Now, you guys all know how I feel about this buggy. I love it, and it went really well in the qualifying rounds. Model PB up 6.14, and it's already getting close, getting under that 7 seconds as a first lap. I have high expectations that this buggy will get through this particular round. The question is, who is it going to be over? What are we going to lose as a result of it? You can see this one handles the circuit pretty well. Another sub 7 seconds. That's all 4 laps so far have been under 7 seconds, but quite a way. About, oh, there we go, 6.10. That was its best lap. That is right on its personal best pace, which is a really good qualifying time and a really good opening session for the DT03. So now we move on to the Cougar. Now this has got it all to do. It is quicker than the DT03 on paper, so I think we should be seeing this one go faster. That's not a good start though. 8.07 first lap for the Cougar. Caught up on the tree. That's 2 not great laps. We've got to pull something out of the bag. Good tyre smash. We love a tyre smash, don't we? We're not getting this down. That is a void lap. Okay, so the timer didn't register the lap on that particular one. So this one will be a really horrendous one. 15.85. So Cougar's got it all to do. That was an average of about 8 seconds between those 2 laps. This is looking slow as well. Caught up on the tree again. 9 seconds. Can it put in one final flyer? It's not looking good. The Cougar is slower than the DT03. That was its best lap, 7.91. So one of the four-wheel drives has got to really fail to keep the Cougar in this. Here we go, TT02B, 2023's champ. What can it do? 5.87 best, 7.4 opener. We had to move the timing device further down because the shadows are playing havoc with the timing software. 6.54, so we are better than the Cougar. The Cougar is still bottom. Oof, that was an interesting little crash there. So this is a void lap because we went round the outside of the timing device. So the camera registers the movement in front of it. So that was a 16.31. TT02B has got to put in a good lap here. 6.84, another one under 7. We've not seen one faster than the DT03 yet. Final lap of 6.3, so it didn't go faster than the DT03. That is still top. So here we go, Top Force Evo. Fastest car around the Orchard Raceway, holds the lap record, 5.74. What can it do? Timing has started. Look how well this car holds the track. It is just beautiful. 6.07. It takes the lead of the finale straight away with its opening lap. What a start. What a start. 7.07. Okay, that was a little spin there. That's not good. Let's get back on track. Let's see if we can put another... 9.24. That's the worst lap that Evo's ever done around the track. Riding the barrier again. Once you get out of sorts, once out of the rhythm, it gets really hard to get it back down again. And the final lap is a 6.2, so Evo goes fastest. Oh dear, oh dear. The Cougar failed at the first hurdle. It didn't help that the steering came loose at the front again. I didn't have the best of drives with it. It's a shame because I had full potential or full expectation of this, that it was going to live up to its potential, but alas, it would not to be. So what a set of times from the DT03 today. That was brilliant. They set on the off. The DT03 set 3-lap records as it started out. 6.74, 6.47 and a 6.2. And then the TT02B couldn't keep up with the DT03, which surprised me. The Top Force Evo goes out and bashes out at 6.07, which interestingly, all of those laps are slower than what they achieved in qualifying. In fact, we didn't have anything that did a better lap than what it did in qualifying. So that's where we sit. The Cougar is out. It is on the bench again for next season. The others all live to compete another day to find out who goes up against the Durga. See you all next week on the OAG RC. Sorry, Cougar. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the OAG RC. I am Craig. Welcome to part 2 of the Orchard Raceway finale. The Cougar didn't make it on the last outing. Unfortunately, the steering columns fell apart on me again, and it did not manage to do a better lap than before. So let's see who out of the TT02B, the DT03 and the Top Force Evo posts the best laps in round 2. So here we go, straight into the action. The DT03 fastest lap on the Orchard Raceway for this buggy is 6.14. Didn't do too badly last time out, but it didn't get better than that, unfortunately. And it's probably the slowest one we've got out on the track at the moment. 6.37 to start. Not a bad opener, just warming up. There we go, 5.84. We've done a new personal best with the DT03 on the second lap of this 5. That's the thing with this thing. It tends to do a fast lap or a hot lap, and then I just can't seem to consistently turn in the fast ones. And we're back now into the mid-6s again. So we had that one flyer that really set it alight for this round. Leg 2. Right, let's see what the TT02B has got to do. We've got the extra camera angle on this one. We're off to a really good start. Start lines had to move a bit further down the track again. So we're going to be seeing those go around no cherry tree turns. 6.57 as an opener, so we're right in the middle of those 6s. This one does have a faster lap, but not faster now than the DT03. So it's got to put in a new personal best if it's got any chance of
going through, and that's not so cool with the 10 seconds and taking out the tyre wall as well. It's always a good start if you take a tyre wall. Right, we're still at 6.37. I think we're going to struggle here. I'm not sure it's got it. 6.10 a finish. So the TT02B is currently on the chopping block here. As long as the Top Force Evo goes faster than 6.10, it will stay alive. And then we've got the DT03 in the final. And there you go, first lap out, 5.90. So our finalists for this season are now the DT03 versus the Top Force Evo. Can the Top Force Evo now put a marker down? It is the fastest lap round the Orchard Raceway with 5.74. 580, so it just goes faster than the DT03, starting to rub a bit of salt in the wounds of everybody. 5.77, what a finisher.
So, the 2022 champion, unfortunately, only makes bronze in 2024. It struggled to better its qualifying time. We got a 6.10 out of it in the end, but you know, it did 5.87 in qualifying. I thought this thing should have done better, but in 5 laps you don't have a lot of margin for error. The DT03 did better its qualifying time, did a 5.84, so that actually went faster than the TT02B did in qualifying, which was a great first 3 laps out of the bag, or 5 laps out of the bag, should I say, for the DT03. But what a performance by this thing. 5.77, 300ths off the Orchard Raceway lap record from the Top Force Evo. So, our final 2 cars in the finale are these 2, and they will shoot off against each other over 10 laps to see who gets crowned Orchard Raceway champion and which one gets to go up against the Durga. But signing off for now is the TT02B, the 2024 bronze place. Hello Orchard Raceway fans, welcome back to the OAG RC. I am Craig, thank you very much for stopping by and watching the channel today. We are in to the final stages, the final showdown on the Orchard for 2024. Will it be the 1990 Top Force Evo, or will it be the modern DT02? Two-wheel drive modern versus four-wheel drive classic. Who do you think will take the lead on the Orchard Raceway in round 1?
So here we are, the final of the Orchard Raceway, the DT03 against the Top Force Evo. So let's get started and see if the DT03 can put in a decent lap. So its best is a 5.84, and I am hoping it's going to get pretty close, maybe just under that in round 1. That's not a good start though. We are at top end of the 6s at the moment, and a bad top corner there leads to an 8.41 on lap 3. We need to turn something better here. What we got, 6.24. I am struggling to get it down beneath that 6 seconds, and we finish on a 6.47. Now, can the Top Force Evo put something in better than that? Let's see what it can do. Timing gate is down at the bottom by no cherry tree for this set of laps. So we've just started. Here we go, first flying lap. Look at how easy it takes that corner. Straight out the bat, 5.94. So it is now already got a faster lap than the DT03 managed in its opening 5. Not a good section there as it came out of mossy bottom straight. So we are 8.54. It does look good around that top corner though, doesn't it? 6.44. Has he got something? Can he go under 6 again? No, just over 6 for the final.
So opening laps are in and the Evo is out in front. Both cars struggling to find the pace of the last round. So the Evo has put in a 5.94, I think it was, fastest. And the DT03 is struggling to get under the magic 6 seconds. Let's hit back out onto the track and see how we fare in round 2.
Right, all to play for. What has the DTO3 got in its tank? Can I get a better lap than 5.94 out of it around the Orchard Raceway? If this is its final chance to do something impressive to take the championship. 6.3 to start with. A 6 second, that is its best in the finale. So we are 600ths of a second off the Top Force Evo now. That was that was not a good lap. This one's looking pretty tasty though. 5.84, it goes fastest. It's got its personal best. Absolutely brilliant. This is looking good as well. 5.94 over to the Top Force Evo. It's got it all to do. So right now, it's got to find a 10th. Can it find a 10th? What can this car do? Here we go. Right, so it is all on the line here. And we've got 5.7 lap record on the first one. That's it. The Evo has won it and followed it up with a 5.54. Look at this car.
Stop. There we have it, everybody. The Top Force Evo is the 2024 Orchard Raceway champion, sporting its first place there. Wasn't that amazing? So the DTO3 stuck in that fast lap at the end of its run, going under the 6 seconds, and I think it was 5.84 it did. And then the Top Force goes and blows out with a new lap record, 5.74. That is amazing. This car is just amazing. It's absolutely off the charts. It is our Orchard Raceway winner for 2024. The question now, though, is can it beat the Durga? Time for the boss battle. Can the Top Force Evo stand up to the might of a modern four-wheel drive race spec buggy from Tamiya? Now, I know this isn't a TRF, but it's as close as I will get to a TRF buggy on the OAG. I don't think there's going to be any more of those coming from Tamiya. And this was the closest that I could get to one in my price bracket. So we've got the awesome Durga. It is set up and ready to go. So let's put it out on the track and see how it gets on in the first set of laps.
One, go. So let's see what the Tamiya Durga can put down the track. The Top Force Evo's lap record is 5.54. How close will the Durga go? You can already see that this buggy handles very nicely. We've got off to a 6 seconds, which is not a bad start compared to some of the other four-wheel drive buggies. That's probably about average. TTO2B, DFO3, they were all sort of around that as their fastest possible lap. So 5.94 is good. We've got beneath that first run, nice tight turnaround, creation corner. 5.57, we're within 300ths of the Top Force Evo's lap record on the first run with the Durga. So now let's see if the Top Force can put something sensible down. That has the lap record of 5.54, so I am expecting this to be able to get pretty close to that 5.57 that the DB01 Durga has just posted. This first lap's looking pretty good. 6.67, that's not a bad start for the Top Force Evo. Can it? Ooh, big hit into the tyres. We love a tyre shot, don't we? 5.65, 6.2. Talking too fast. This one's looking a flyer. 5.57. We've got exactly the same score. Exactly the same time between these two buggies. 5.97. That just shows how well matched these two really are out on the track. What a great start.
Round 1 is down. And that is why this thing is the boss. That is why we've saved this right until the end for this. While it's not got the lap record, it is within a few tenths of a second of the Top Force's best lap. The Top Force could not string together a set of laps that were better than the Durga in its opening run. Let's see what happens in run number 2.
Around 7-3. So we're even. 5.57 from both buggies in the first heat. Let's see if the Durga can do something impressive in the second heat. So it seems to be losing a lot of traction on those tyres. I think these tyres are set up for the carpet. 6.10, or the Astro maybe. And they're really struggling on the loose traction that you get out on the Orchard Raceway. Whereas the Evo has got those spiked tyres, the super grippers, which tend to give a bit more grip. 6.2. So the Durga is struggling to get down into the times of that first heat. This is looking nice though. Whoa, we've just got a new lap record. 5.5 on the nose from the Durga. And it cleared the tyres out as well. What more do you want from a heat number 2 from the Durga? Now, what has our Top Force Evo got? Can it get anywhere near that 5.54 that was its original personal best? Let's see. Opening lap's looking nice and neat and tidy here. We've got a 5.9. Oh, it's just given up. And just like that, we have a new lap record on the Orchard Raceway. The Durga goes with a 5.5 seconds, the fastest car on the Orchard Raceway. And the Top Force got so excited that it couldn't even put in more than one lap. Let's go on to round 3 and see if the Top Force can beat the boss. So we are in to the final heat of the boss showdown. Can our Orchard Raceway champion, the Top Force Evo, get anywhere near the Durga in this final heat? The Durga currently now is our lap record holder on the Orchard Raceway with a 5.5. And the Top Force Evo's got it in it to get pretty close to... we are just taking it out. 5.44. We've got another new lap record for the Durga. Maybe now it is a stretch too far, but this is why it's the boss of the Orchard Raceway. It's done it again. Another 5.44. We're now going backwards just to rub it in the face of the Evo. It can't possibly get anywhere near 5.44. Your new lap record holder, the Tamiya Durga. Right, Top Force Evo, here we go. What have you got? Have you got one last lap? Can you get below 5.5 seconds? That's the question. If it gets anywhere near it, I will be surprised. So we've not had a great opening lap. 6.94. I'm probably trying a bit too hard at this point. I know I want to do better, but it's really hard. It's really hard to drive consistently when you know you're trying to put in a fast lap. That is more like it though. 5.6 on that last lap. I'm going to clear out the tyres. This is the very last lap. Have we got something special? Can we do it? Yes, we can. 5.37 seconds. That is unbelievable that a Top Force Evo is quicker than a Durga. There you go. The Top Force Evo did it in 5.37. Lap records broken on the Orchard Raceway. The Durga went faster first, but it was no match for the ultimate racing machine that is the Tamiya Top Force Evo. 5.37 seconds around the Orchard. That is absolutely insane. This buggy is just another class. It absolutely is another level. It's beaten the boss. That means the boss is going to have some work done during the winter to make it a bit more of a battle, because I think what we're going to see here is the Orchard Raceway champ for years and years and years to come. What do you think could beat the Top Force Evo around the Orchard Raceway? Have you got any ideas of what I could get onto the channel that might actually put a bit of contest to this thing? Because right now, I can't see anything beating this. 2024, I present to you the Top Force Evo.